Hey, eighth grade. So our learning target today is I can write and graph equations in point slope form. So what is point slope form? So let's talk about what words we see here. We have the word point and we have the word slope. So what is point slope form? It's the form of y, stop sign, minus y1 equals m multiplied by x, stop sign, minus x1. So that's known as point slope form. So our point would be highlighted here in green, x1, y1, and our slope would be the m. The other two variables, x and y, just stay as stop signs. So what we do is we convert that into the form we're most comfortable with, linear equation form, which is y equals mx plus b, called slope intercept form. So let's go ahead and highlight this one as well. So we have slope, and then we have intercept form. So our slope is still the same. The intercept is b. So we convert. That's just that idea of solve for y. So let's practice kind of working through these two forms. They're very much connected to each other. We can work them back and forth. So write an equation in point slope form. Again, it's saying that we need a point and that we need slope. So write in any equation in point slope form. So we could say something like, I guess not any equation, sorry. We're going to say there is a line that passes through the point 4, -3 and has a slope of 2. So here's my x1, y1. So we're going to say y minus y1 is equal to m multiplied by x minus x1. So we'd have y stop sign minus the y1 value. The y1 value is -3. The slope is 2. And then we have x minus the x1 value is 4. So go back over here and kind of erase what we have. So our slope is 2. Plug that into the slope spot. And my point x1, y1. So I plug those in over on the right-hand side. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's rewrite that and let's solve this for y. So I say, no, I'm going to stop, chop, chop this. I have a lonely variable x, and I say no, and I stop, chop, chop that side. If I haven't used it, drag it down. And I'm going to distribute right here to kill that parentheses. So we're going to say 2 multiplied by 1 is 2. Reattach the variable x. Sign stays. Take the 2 and multiply it to -4. 2 times -4 is -8. Hand method kicks in, solving for y. Subtract 3, copy, paste. So we end up with y equals 2x plus -11. Y equals 2x plus -11. So that's how we go from something called point slope to something called slope intercept form. It's just solving for y. We've been practicing that. Okay. So let's talk about how we graph in these two forms. So let's first graph this problem over here. So I'm going to rewrite the problem matching our equations. We'd say y minus y1 is equal to the slope m x minus x1. That has to match perfectly. So we have y matches perfectly. Awesome. We're going to have to stop, chop, chop this and say no. The plus sign now matches perfectly, which means my y1 value now has to be negative. So that's going to become, the point is going to become -2 on the y1. Okay, keep working now. My slope, of course, is here. My slope is 2/3. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down below. My slope is equal to 2/3. X matches perfectly. My minus sign matches perfectly, which means my x1 value has to be 3. So my x1 value has to be 3. So we're going to plot the point first. This is my hotel room, and then we'll work our slope from there. So elevator analogy, find the elevator. It's at 3, go down 2 floors. So I check in at the front door of the hotel. Elevator's at 1, 2, 3, go down 2 floors. That's my hotel room located at 3, -2. To find my friend's hotel room, I'm going to rise 2, run 3. So I'm going to rise 2, run 3. There's my friend's hotel room. You only need 2 points to make a line. So we connect the dots, and there's my line. That's how we would graph in what's called point slope form. You need a point, you need a slope. So we're going to take that same problem, we're going to rewrite in slope intercept form. So we're going to go ahead and solve. Lonely variable, I said no. We're going to kill this parenthesis on the right-hand side, so we distribute. We get 2/3. Reattach the x, sign in the middle is plus. Distribute again, so that's 2/3 times -3. You can use your calculator if you need help with that. You get -2 there. On the left-hand side, if I haven't used it, drag it down. Hand method kicks in. I'm going to subtract 2, copy, paste. So we get y equals 2/3 x plus. On the right-hand side, we have -2 plus -2, or -2 minus 2. Use your calculator if you need it, is -4. So let's go ahead and confirm that this is correct work here. My y-intercept is at -4. So if I go fast graph this, that would be right here, which my line is not perfect. I can adjust it just a little bit. All right, so, and then I would go, I work my slope from there. So I would say, well, then we're going to rise 2, run 3. Rise 2, run 3. Rise 2, run 3, and look it. It's the same line. Doesn't matter which way you graph it, it is the same line. All right, let's try another problem down here. So we're going to write an equation in point slope form of the line. So we're going to do it 2 different ways down here. So first, let's find the slope. My hotel room, best friend's hotel room. Up and down on top, left and right on bottom. So I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 4. I'm going to run 2. So my slope is 2. Regardless of whichever way I write the equation, my slope is 2. All right, so now I pick one of these data points because this is called point slope form. Point and a slope. I got my slope. I need a point. I pick one of the data points. I'm going to pick my hotel room first. Point I'm going to use is 1, -3, x1, y1. So we're going to write the equation, and then we're going to solve for y. Then we'll start all over again with the other point just to prove that my friend's hotel room works the same. So we're going to go ahead and say y minus y1 equals the slope x minus x1. So that's y minus, the y1 value is -3. My slope is 2. If I'm going too fast, go ahead and pause that video. The x is a stop sign, and the x1 value is 1. Go ahead and take a look at that. Plug everything in, make sure everything's in good shape there. I said no. I'm going to stop, chop, chop the left side. I said no, and I stop, chop, chop on the inside. We're going to kill that parenthesis. Distribute is 2. Reattach the x. Keep the sign. Distribute again is -2. So we have 2x plus -2 on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, we have y plus 3. Solving hand method. We're going to subtract 3, copy, paste. So we have y equals 2x plus -5. Y equals 2x plus -5. Go ahead and look at that. We're just solving for y. We're trying to get that equation all set up. That's using my hotel room. So I chose to use this point here. 1 for x, -3 for y. My hotel room. We're going to do the exact same scenario with my best friend's hotel room, this one. So we're going to go ahead and write the equation. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1, but we're going to use her hotel room instead, or his hotel room, which is 3, 1. Substitution. Y stop sign. Plug in the y1 value, which is 1. The slope is 2. X stop sign. Plug in the x1 value, which is 3. Distributive property. I said no. We're going to kill that parenthesis. Distribute is 2. Reattach the variable x plus. Distribute again is -6. We have y plus -1 on the left. Add 1, copy, paste. We have y equals 2x plus -6 plus 1. -6 plus 1. Go ahead and check that out. Pause this video if it's too fast. It's -5. Notice, it doesn't matter if I use my hotel room or if I use my friend's hotel room. Check it out. We got the same answer either way. So that just proves that it doesn't matter which hotel room you use. Okay, meet me on the top of the next page. So we're going to talk about how do we solve these problems 3 different ways. 3 possible different ways. So we're going to say kind of have the same scenario and looking through it 3 different ways. Suppose you have $500 in your savings account. That sounds like a B to me. A beginning amount. You have $25. You save $25 each month. That sounds like a slope. Write an equation in slope-intercept form. Slope, intercept, slope, intercept. That means you need a y equals mx plus b. Slope, intercept, m and b. Plug in y equals 25x plus 500. Slope, intercept form, done. Y equals mx plus b. So we're going to take the exact same problem in part B with different information given. So it's talking about the same problem that we had up above. It says you have some money in your savings account. We know what it is from part A, but we can't use part A to do part B. So we're like, how much do we have at the beginning? You add $25 in each month. That sounds like a slope. By month 8, you have $700. Check this out. First time you've seen this. By month 8, you have $700. Guys, this is a point. 8, 700. By month 8, you have $700. You have what's called a point slope. How much money did you start with? Well, we know the answer is $500, but we can't use part A. We have to assume that 1B is a brand new question. Point slope, y minus y1 is equal to the slope x minus x1. All right, substitution kicks in. So we'd say y minus 700 is equal to the slope 25. And then we have x stop sign minus 8. Let's kill that parenthesis now. So I said no, lonely variable, and I said no, distribute. We send it in. We get 25, reattach the x, plus, distribute again. 25 times negative 8 is negative 200. $25 times negative 8 is negative 200. All right. So if we haven't used it, drag it down. Solving hand method. We're going to add 700, copy, paste. We end up with y equals 25x plus 500. So there's my y equals mx plus b. What is the beginning amount? The beginning amount is 500. How much money did you start with in your account? 500. We knew that from part A, but we're just proving it in part B. In part C, let's try another problem. In part C, you have the same amount of money in your savings each month. So we don't know the slope this time. We know it's 25 from above, but we have to act like we don't know it. In month 5, you have 625. In month 12, you have 800. How much money do you have by month 17? Okay, so we're talking about point slope in this problem. So we would go ahead and find the slope first. So we would say x1, y1, x2, y2. So we're saying y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So our slope then, y2 is 800 minus 625. And my x2 value is 12 minus 5. So 800 minus 625 gives me 175. 12 minus 5 is 7. So we end up with a slope of $25 a month, which is exactly the slope we've had in parts A and B, but that just proves it. So $25 a month is our slope, right? Okay, so now it's asking us, well, what is happening at month 17? Well, month 17 is our x, so month when x is 17. So using our equation, we would say y equals $25 a month plus we started with 500. So what happens at month 17? We would say month 17, $25 a month for 17 months, and we add 500, gives us an equation of 425 that we're putting in plus 500 to start is $925. So our coordinate then would be at month 17, we have $925. All right, so let's try one more example down here below. I know the video is getting kind of long here. But let's try the next example. One problem asked 3 different ways. A newspaper editor starts his career out by making $4,280. So that sounds like the beginning amount. He gets a $700 raise each year. There's your slope. Write an equation in slope intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Slope intercept form. So y equals 790 each year, and he starts with 4,280. There's your equation. Y equals mx plus b. Now this time, let's go ahead and say the editor gets a $790 raise each year. There's your slope. In his 8th year, he makes $10,600. So 8th year, $10,600. So here is my year and the amount of money I make. There's my points. So my slope is 790. My point is 10,600. Now up in 1B, what I did in that previous question is I used point intercept form. This time I'm going to use the other form. So instead of using y minus y1, I'm going to use y equals mx plus b just to show you it works either way. Okay, so my y value is 10,600. My slope is 790. My x is 8. And my b is unknown. It's just a hand method. So it's just a different way to do it than 1b above. Just a different formula still gets you the b. So we have 10,600 equals 790 multiplied by 8 is 6,320 plus b. Subtract 6,320. Copy paste. So to find out that the b value or the beginning value would be 4,280, which matches what we had in part A, but that just proves it. That looks different than 1B. I solved it 2 different ways just to show you it works either way. If you have questions on that, go ahead and pause the video or compare 1B and 2B because I did solve them 2 different ways, but either way I got the beginning value, his beginning salary. A newspaper editor gets the same raise each year. That means that the slope is unknown. In his 5th year, he made $8,230. There's a coordinate. This is his year and how much he makes. On his 9th year, he makes $11,390. How much will he make after 15 years? Well, first thing we need to do is find the slope. So we're going to say y2 minus y1, so 11,390 minus 8,230 over x2 minus x1. So as I start to solve that in the numerator, I end up with 11,390 minus 8,230 gives me 3,160 over 4. 3,160 divided by 4 gives me a slope of 790. So my slope is 790, which matches what it says in part A, but that just confirms it in a different way. We can't rely on part A to do it. So then, what's happening on year 15? So we're saying we could go y equals mx plus b on this, or we could go the other formula. It doesn't make any difference. We know this is 790. We know our beginning amount from part B we just found. Or we could pick one of these coordinates. Let's do that this time. Let's pick one of these coordinates. I'll pick this one. So we're going to say 11,390 is equal to, my slope is 790 multiplied by 9 plus b. Just using that point because we're trying to look for the b. All right, so we'd have 790 multiplied by 9 is 7110 plus b. Hand method kicks in. We solve, subtract 7110, copy paste. On the left-hand side, we have 4,280 equals b. So we'd say that the beginning amount that he makes is 4,280. So using that, then we'd say y equals, the slope is 790, x plus 4,280, and we want to know how much is he going to make in 15 years. So we're going to go ahead and substitute 15 in. So we'd say 790 times 15 plus 4,280. How many dollars is he going to make in 15 years. So we have 790 times 15, 11,850 plus 4,280 gives us $16,130. So that's the total amount of money he makes at 15 years. So 15 years, $16,130. Years, dollars, there it is, guys. So your homework for tonight is to do page 37 and page 38. Due tomorrow. Have a great night.